to our webinar on how to file a motor vehicle annual report. This demo should be brief and provide you all the tools necessary to file an annual report that is due by June 30th. The first step you want to do is navigate to the OCCC homepage. I'm going to occc.texas.gov. For motor vehicles, all the resources are under Regulated Industries Motor Vehicle Sales Finance. I'm going to click there and I'm going to look for annual reporting. There are 3 resources on this page. You can click the annual reporting filing guide. Which is a PDF document that will explain how to navigate in our new portal system. It'll explain things like registering an account, how to enter your master file number, and how to generate an authentication key. The next document is Motor Vehicle Annual Reporting Instructions. This provides the information on the 3 questions we ask on the annual report. This is the information you should prepare ahead of time to ensure you have your correct data to file. The last link is the online reporting portal. This will take you to our new filing system. I'm going to put a pin in that right now and show you something else. You will need your master file number to file this report. I'm going to navigate back to my homepage, occc.texas.gov. I'm going to make sure I have my master file number correct. So I'm going to choose Alex. I'm going to advanced search. And I'm going to enter the name of my business. So for this company, their license number is 37382, but we don't use that to file the report. We use the master file number of 8766. So if you're not sure which is your master file number, this is a step you can take. I verify, yes, this is my business. I verify that, yes, this is my master file number. Now I have everything I need to file the report. I can go back to the Motor Vehicle Sales Finance page and go to the reporting portal, or I can click this button here, File Annual Report. It takes me to the web page that I need to log in. But first, I need to create a new user account. So I'm going to click this button here, Register New User Account. I'm going to enter my email address. I'll click Register New User Account, and then it will create an authentication key for me to use. And I can reuse this each subsequent login. I'm going to copy this exactly. I'm going to, and I don't remember what email address I just used. So I'm going to register a user account again, and I'm going to call it OCCTest1@mail.com. It's going to give me a new authentication key. OCCTest1@mail.com was the user ID. My username. I'm going to copy this authentication code, enter it here. I'll remember my username and I'll sign in. I do want to save that for later. And so from now on, it'll save my information. I can always log in to this portal using those credentials. If I forget my authentication code or I want to change it, I can register a new user account using the same method, or I could create a new authentication code. The only issue would be filing history is tied to that user ID. So if I change user IDs, I will lose my filing history, but that will be the only impact. I've created a dummy account to file the annual report. You will use your actual master file number. But I know my master file for my dummy account is 1001. And then it displays my master file here. And then in this grid, it'll show you if there's a license connected to that. You'll want to make sure there is, because if there isn't, that's a telltale sign that you've entered the wrong master file number, and we don't have a record of the number you entered. Everything looks good on my end. I'm going to now file the report. File a report. I have to choose something as the business subtype. For us, we're filing the motor vehicle sales finance report, and that's the only option I have. So I know I'm fine. If there's nothing in this dropdown, it also means you may have filed an incorrect master file number. The reporting year I'm choosing is 2025 because the report is for last year's information. I'm going to choose File Report. And here are my 3 questions that I need to file data for. The first question, retail installment contracts originated in the previous calendar year. You have originated a contract if you are the seller. So what does that mean? Well, originated contracts are contracts where the dealer was the retail seller and entered into a retail installment contract with the buyer at the time of sale. If the dealership sells a vehicle and the buyer signs a retail installment contract with the dealership, that contract should be reported as originated, even if the contract is later assigned to a finance company, bank, or credit union. Those are all financed transactions. You would report the number for all of 2025 and the total amount financed on those contracts. I am a used car dealership and I do buy here, pay here transactions. Last year, I sold 50 cars on retail installment contracts and I financed a total of $500,000. I would report that amount in those 2 blanks. Question number 2, retail installment contracts acquired in the previous calendar year. You have acquired a contract if you're the holder, but we're not the seller. So what does this mean? Acquired contracts are contracts that the licensee purchased, received by assignment, or otherwise acquired after another seller originated the contract. This generally applies to companies that buy or take assignments of contracts from dealers or other creditors. Most dealerships will not report acquired contracts unless they are purchasing contracts that were originated by another seller. Now, this could include a related finance company. A related finance company could acquire, likely acquires, retail installment contracts where they're not the seller. They would report there, but most selling dealerships would not report anything. Question number 3, retail installment contracts serviced in the previous calendar year. Report active outstanding serviced as of December 31st. What does this mean? Service contracts are contracts that the licensee serviced during the reporting year. Servicing generally means collecting payments. A dealership that assigns its contracts shortly after sale and does not continue collecting or administering the contracts generally would not report those contracts as serviced. However, I'm a buy here, pay here. I collect payments. So I'm going to report all my active contracts as of December 31st. That will be 150. That includes all my active deals that haven't been paid off or repoed. And it can be from prior years and the 50 I sold this year that are still active. Okay. My total outstanding balance on all those contracts, or my total payoff amount, the total I haven't collected that remain due, and if they paid me on December 31st would be the total amount that they would pay off. In this case would be $800,000. Okay, those are the only 3 questions for this report. I'm going to click next. I'm going to make sure everything carried over correctly. I will check this box that this is accurate. You have an option to print what you're about to file beforehand because you can't download a copy of the report after it's submitted. So there's a print button here. It will automatically save a PDF. Click save, put it somewhere on your in your files for you to maintain. That's recommended. It's not required, but it's highly recommended. Cancel. Okay, I will now create the report. It gives me a warning. Once submitted, you will not be able to download a copy of the report from the system. We recommend printing the PDF prior to submission. Again, that helpful button allows you to do that. I've already done that. Let's create the report. I get a notification. It's been successfully submitted. Please see current submissions tab. And there's my record there. I could also print this as a record that shows when I submitted the report. If I entered data incorrectly and I need to change my report, I can just file a new report and the newest report will replace the oldest report as a rule. That concludes the annual report filing demo. Thank you for joining us.